And there were a lot of requests from educators who said, can you do something about the soul work in the context of what we're having to deal with today in young people that we're trying to educate? Anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, aggressiveness, attention deficit disorder, these types of things that are growing and growing very strongly in our society. It's my experience that storytelling is the stock in trade of the teacher. And that's why I've focused on storytelling. But I've worked for two large organizations who provide care for people who are on the spectrum. The care in the evening is let over to house parents, but they have to live in a family context with these young people who have some deep emotional issues. How could they prepare themselves to really begin to understand what the young people who had emotional issues were going through? It's one thing to give care to someone who has a physical disability, and it's a whole other thing to give care to someone who not only has a physical disability, but an emotional disability. So I said, I need to really kind of broaden away from just pure education to education as a healing art. And that has become the focus in these 12 courses for people who would like to hone their skills about dealing with people who have emotional issues. The most fundamental principle of that is being able to awaken in the way another person sees their own life. That's then storytelling in the dyad. Because these young people are left without models of the rite of passage into adulthood, and they form ideas that are maybe not quite so wholesome based on what is given to them by the culture at large. What they really need is to connect an objective consciousness through a myth or legend, and somehow find in that myth or legend the motif of their own struggle to awaken. And the best way to do that is to find a peer that is also struggling to awaken with that same thing. It would be very useful if teachers were educated in storytelling in this context of using an objective myth as the basis for a biographical sketch, and learning how to actually ask questions that were not threatening, so that they could look in their classes of symptomatology, or they could recognize states in the daily round where they could bring a story in, a pedagogical story, and have a little exercise where the class could work with it if there were struggles going on. Maybe we ought to have a storytelling session. Maybe we ought to take a story from the Bible or something, and tell it. How Cain and Abel. What is that? What is Cain okay, or Abel, and Job, or whatever? When they start talking about those stories as biographical sketches of things they lived through, very powerful things. Very powerful. And they have nothing to do with the teacher, but they have everything to do with the fact that a peer will trust a peer that is sharing a biography about an objectively shared story that is archetypal. There is no transference. So I offer this to you through this course as a way of thinking in a different way about what it means to educate people for life. So if you are a member of a group, please think about talking to the people who organize your work and see if they would be interested in this course that goes beyond just simply being for teachers, but actually goes into the realm of healing.